So how did English become a global lingua franca? Well, England had a lot of colonies in India, Africa, Australia, Canada, and what is later called the United States. And in those areas, they were starting to talk English because of the colonies, because they needed to understand and talk English. And in those areas, most of these areas, it became a dominant language, but in those where it didn't, it became a prestige language, so a language that they all knew and could talk. And how it got spread to the rest of the world is because the United States had a strong economic power and were very forward with technology and business, and so they were really strong in the world. So we all kind of needed to understand English, and later on, schools began to teach English, teach their students English, and that's how it just became a lingua franca. And the importance of the global language in today's world is very important because it helps countries collaborate with each other, and especially around the climate changes. It helps them a lot that every country can say something and can do something, and can help each other with science, technology, business, and education. They can all bring something to each other and share knowledge with each other, for example, about climate change and how they can make the climate better. And it also helps us to travel around the world, and it helps us to not misunderstand each other. So yeah, it's very important that we have a global language so we can share our knowledge with each other. But there also comes with some challenges, and but the good things about lingua franca is that we, as I said, we can travel around the world, and we can work wherever we want, and a lingua franca reduces misunderstandings, as I also said. We can just go to India, and they understand what we're saying, and we can understand what they're saying, and it also makes us understand cultures better. We can understand why they in Africa does what they're doing. It helps us better to understand each other, but it also helps us to integrate into new societies. Like if I wanted to move to India, I can understand what they're saying without knowing their first language. So I can live there without any problems because we have lingua franca. So if I can take the train without any problems because it would be standing in English. But the consequences of lingua franca is that a lot of the small languages would disappear because we all kind of start talking English, and that makes the smaller languages that we doesn't talk so much disappear because we don't speak them anymore, because it's easier for us to just talk English because that can everybody understand. And some of the countries doesn't want to have a lingua franca because they think that it's a trait for the country, and for the cultural identity. So they don't want to have lingua franca, which makes them not a part of the society because we can't understand them, and they don't understand as good. So and that really that doesn't make them a part of the society because they can't really be a part of it because they don't understand what we are all saying. And some of the countries doesn't have resources or opportunity to learn a lingua franca, which is also a problem because it's not their fault that they can't learn it, and they also don't get to be a part of the society just because they're like a poor country. So yeah, that is also not really good, and also consequences of lingua franca, because then they can't really be a part of the world, and they can't really travel as much as we can, because we can understand what everybody's saying, and it's easier for us to just go to another country. But the countries where they can learn English can't really travel as good, and there are coming misunderstandings, and it's not as easy for them to be in the world as for us, because we understand a lingua franca. So